Welcome back to the channel. When you retire, your pension is going to be based upon your credible service. Your credible service is not just the time that you spent as an actual federal employee. It could also include your active duty military time. If you have active duty military time, you could buy back that time and add it to your total service, and it will be reflected in an increased pension. Now, for those who have active duty military time, I'm going to put you into one of three categories. The first category is those who have enough active duty to be eligible for an active duty military pension. So if you have 20 years plus, you'll be eligible for an active duty military pension. There's another category, which is those who have active duty time and they will be eligible for a reservist pension. And then there's a middle category, those who have active duty time, but they're not going to be eligible for an active duty pension. They're not going to be eligible for a reservist pension. So if you're in that middle category is the easiest category to deal with. Your active duty time is not providing you any monetary value right now, but it could if you buy back that time and add it to your pension. It's going to cost you money, but the reward usually justifies the cost. So for example, let's say you have 4 years of active duty military. For every year of service, it's going to increase your pension by 1% per year. So if you have 4 years, it's going to increase your pension by 4% of your high 3 average salary. So if your high 3 average salary, let's say, is $150,000, so 4% of $150,000 is $6,000 a year. Now, it's going to cost you money to buy back that 4 years. It may cost you, let's just say, $4,000. So you're going to have to pay $4,000, but you're paying $4,000 once, so you could get an increase of your pension of $6,000 a year every year for the rest of your life. So $4,000 once for $6,000 a year every year for the rest of your life. That's a slam dunk. So if you're in that middle category, it makes sense to buy back your military time. Now, for those who have active duty military time, enough to be eligible for an active duty military pension, so that means you have 20 plus years, you have an option. You could continue receiving your military pension for the rest of your life, or you could receive a military pension up until the point you retire from civilian service, and then your military time could be added to your civilian time and it will increase your civilian pension. If you're in that category, should you buy back your military time and have it added to your civilian pension, or should you just continue with your military pension for the rest of your life? The answer is going to depend on the value of your military pension versus the value of the increase to your civilian pension. Let's give an example. Let's say you have 20 years of active duty military. If you buy back that time, that will increase your civilian pension by the 20 years of service. That means you're going to get 1% for each year times 20 years. So that's 20% of your high 3 average salary. Let's say your high 3 average salary is $150,000. So 20% of $150,000 is $30,000 a year. $30,000 a year. So you're going to have to buy back your military time so that you could increase your civilian pension by $30,000 a year. Is it worth it to convert your military pension for an increase of $30,000 in your civilian pension? And the answer obviously is, it depends on how large is your military pension. For example, if your military pension is $40,000, then it's not going to be worth it for you to give away a $40,000 military pension just to increase your civilian pension by $30,000. That does not make sense at all. But let's give another example. Let's say that your military pension was $30,000 and you could buy back your military time and include it in your civilian pension. It will increase your civilian pension by $30,000. So basically it's a swap, $30,000 for $30,000. It looks like an even swap, but it's not an even swap for 3 reasons. Number one, your military pension gets a full COLA. Your civilian pension gets a diet COLA. Number 2 is the survivor benefit. The survivor benefit on your military pension, you do not have to pay for that every year for the rest of your life. You have to pay for it for 30 years and then you're done. As opposed to the civilian pension, the civilian survivor benefit, you're going to have to pay for that for the rest of your life. And then, number 3 is that it costs you money to buy back that military time. So you're not just swapping $30,000 for $30,000, you're actually paying money so that you could swap $30,000 for $30,000. So for that purpose, if your military pension was 30 and your civilian increase was 30, even though it looks like it's a swap, it's not an even swap. In order for you to justify converting your military time basically converting your military pension into a civilian pension, it'll have to be that your civilian pension increase is significantly larger than your military pension. So that's on that side of the aisle. Now let's go to the third category. The third category are the people who will be eligible for a reservist pension. So they have active duty time and they will be eligible for a reservist pension. If you're in that category, you have the best of both worlds. Your active duty time could count towards both your reservist pension and your civilian pension. That same exact time. So if you're in that category, it definitely makes sense for you to buy back that time because it's not going to decrease your reservist pension and it's only going to increase your civilian pension. So you have the best of both worlds. No matter which category you're in, thank you for your service, and I'm hoping that this video helps you capitalize on that service. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.